Esport'tan herkese merhaba. Basketball Without Borders etkinliğinde Cleveland Cavaliers koçu Kenny Atkinson ile birlikteyiz. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
I want to start with your basketball career because you play across Europe, Italy, France, Spain, Germany, right?
Yes.
And did you view yourself as a basketball traveler?
Yes, and it's really formed me as a coach, having all those different experiences in all the different countries, and having great European coaching. I'm almost more formed in Europe, more so than the States, in terms of being a coach. And then when I finished playing, I coached for 3 years with the French in the French First Division, and then was lucky this 2 summers ago to be on the Olympic staff of the France national team, which we unfortunately lost to the USA in the final. But great experience. I consider myself a global global supporter of the game, not just an American.
And how much European coaches shape your mind? Who was your idol back then?
A lot. I had so many different coaches, and each of them had a different philosophy. You know the difference between like a Turkish coach and French coach. They have different philosophies, so you get this range of experiences. Playing under them and then coaching. So my formation was a real mixed bag of great European coaching.
Can you give me one European legend name? Shape your mind.
As a player or a coach?
Coach.
I can give you 10 names. Ataman is, I never, like everyone knows, he's a great coach. Obradovic, of course, unbelievable coach. There's Vincent Collet who worked for us in Cleveland this past year. He was my consultant. So I still lean on the European way of playing. I think it's really helped me as a coach, helped me in the NBA.
When you play in Europe in the 90s, did you ever imagine a world dominated by the European superstars? Did you ever imagine the NBA, modern NBA like today?
Well, when it was starting to happen, right? Yeah. I think, Mehmet Okurs of the world and Tony Parkers and Ginobili's, and so, but I never thought it would be 30% of the NBA is foreign players right now, and to me it's only going to continue to grow, which is wonderful because it's a global game, but it is pretty amazing how all of a sudden it's just taken off, and you're seeing all these European and international players in the league.
And as a coach, from a player development standpoint, what do you think about difference between European way of training young players and American way of training young players?
Listen, Europe has an advantage in the sense they have a great club system where you have to kind of work your way up, and you're playing with older players, and you're under 16 or under 17. Sometimes you get to train with the first team, and you have to learn from the older players, where maybe in America it's more, you're playing in your age group and you dominate your age. Usually you're one of the best, and they just give you the ball. Yeah. So I think the European, they understand how to play without the ball. I think that's the key difference. But our system also produces creative players and very good individual players. So neither system is perfect, but they're both good in their own right.
Maybe European system more focused on fundamentals, right?
Fundamentals, team. Yeah. Move the ball. We are definitely more superstar driven, which I love too. You can say, hey, James Harden here, take the ball. Donovan Mitchell, take the ball and score. I don't have to draw some crazy play. I can, those guys make plays on their own. So it makes my, I think coaching in the NBA in that sense tactically is probably easier than coaching European basketball, where it's much more. The tactics are much more important.
And you also work with the France at the Paris Olympics.
Yeah.
What did you remember from the finals? What did you remember from those Stephen Curry moments?
Steph Curry, and I, I know Steph really well, and I'm just kicking. I should have had a plan to help France stop Steph, but it was him and LeBron that were manipulating the game at that point, and they're trying to get Yabusele into the action, but Steph, the shots he hit were incredible, and that's why he's one of the greatest ever.
And you know him very well.
Yes.
When you watched the game at the bench, what did you think about that?
I wanted to cry, because like I said, you feel guilty a little bit. I know him, and we should have probably double teamed him or done something different. Just get the ball out of his hands.
But he had LeBron James and Kevin Durant.
You have Durant over there. You have LeBron. You have Devin Booker. So you get the ball out of his hands. And then you give up an open three. So you play that game. But I'm happy for Steph because he's the best person. Great player.
Was that game the most insane thing you ever saw live on basketball courts?
Yeah, I think, you'd had the pageantry and the beauty of the Olympics, the fans. I mean, when they sung the national anthem of the USA and France, it made you want to cry, right? You got 22,000 people singing the French national anthem, and the emotions, the crowd. It was just, and that's the passion of European basketball. The fans are active participants. It's not entertainment. They want to see the game, and they
want to control the game sometimes.
Yeah, and they want to control
the game.
Yes, but that's what makes it. It makes it so great. Even when we played in Lille in the first round, 27,000 people at the games, and you have all the great NBA players, right? From each country playing. It was a great experience.
And you're here for the Basketball Without Borders.
Yeah.
What did you think about the global impact of the Basketball Without Borders?
I love 25 years they're celebrating, and I'm trying to think how many I've done. I've probably done 7, 8. Buenos Aires, Mexico. I did one in Canada. Paris, I did one. So I've done these, and I'm just. I love seeing the young players. I love seeing the next potential. Who's going to be the next Mehmet Okur? Who's going to be the next Türkoğlu? You're just anxious to interact with that, and then I get the chance to interact with coaches from different programs, European coaches, American coaches. There's front office people here. And maybe the best part, I get to know a great city, right? Like Istanbul is, one of the best cities in the world, and we toured around yesterday, and so you're getting the cultural aspect too. It's like the NBA is brilliant. Like this is a brilliant program that they started, and it's really helped grow the game, globally, which is so important.
Across 7 or 8 Basketball Without Borders you ever done, who is the most unforgettable young player you ever coached in the camp?
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Probably it's hard to remember.
You know who really surprised? This is Goran Dragic.
Yeah.
I don't know how famous he was back then. Dragic and Nick Batum are in the same
great
basketball
players.
out. And I'm like, man, who are, I know there's been more talented guys, but they made a real impact.
But Dragic and Batum are legends, right?
Yeah, they're
legends, right?
Batum's had what a career. Dragic was, great player in the league. So those are the two that stick out in my mind.
When you train with young players, what is the first thing you look for?
First thing I look for, obviously skill. I love skill.
Skill beats everything, right?
Yeah, I think skill. Yeah, skill and competitiveness. How you gotta have the compete level, and I think that's why the European players have really taken off in the NBA because the coaching's great over here. The players become super skilled. Then you get the competitive part, and and we think of all the players that didn't play in the NBA, right? The Bodarogas, that could have been great NBA players. They just didn't come over. So my skill and competitiveness those would be the two big pillars for me.
And heading in the new season, what is your hope for the Cleveland Cavaliers? Because Eastern Conference have gotten better.
I look at the schedule, I say, how are we going to win one game? But then I say, wait, we have James Harden, we have Donovan Mitchell, we have Evan Mobley, we have Jared Allen. We have a great foundation and base. Every NBA season's different. We don't know which way this season's going to take. But I obviously have a lot of confidence in our team. We're conference finalists last year, so like I said, we're going to be. I think people are counting us out a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
So everybody's gotten better. The Cavs are so, and I just, I think we're taking that personally. Like, no one's happy with that, and going to make us put that chip on our shoulder this year to prove people wrong.
I'm a Cavs fan.
Yes.
I take your word as that we're going to win the title this year. Thank you for your title.
No, man, that's great to hear you're a Cavs fan. That's so cool.
And it's great to have you here. Thank you very much, Kenny
Thanks for having me.
Kenny Atkinson'la konuştuk. Elbette Basketball Without Borders'tan röportajlarımız sürecek.